Down there, life continues.
It's brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. Grade 12. This is the crucial time for us now. We are on the final leg. We are almost there. So today, I will be focusing on this topic, maps, plans, and other physical representations of the physical world. But under the subtopic, maps and plans. That is what I will be focusing at for today. What is our objectives today, boys and girls? I want us by the end of this lesson, we should be able to interpret the compass direction. This is what we should be able to do, to interpret the compass direction and use the compass to give directions. Write the grid reference to identify. As I'm doing this, you should notice that I am only circling, or I'm only underlining the important aspects to identify the location in the maps and plans. Work with different types of maps or plans. Calculate the length or the distance on the map or plans using a bar scale or a number scale. That is where our focus will be again. Also, use the given, this is important, use the given map or plan to find the way to the destination. Remember, with this time, we should be able to do these objectives that I have spoken about. Now, the last one, we say we determine the scale in which a plan or a map has been drawn in the form of 1:2. Remember, when we write a scale, we write the scale in the form of a ratio. So we say 1:2 and use that scale to determine the dimensions on the map, to determine the dimensions on the map. So we'll use that given scale. Remember, sometimes you'll be given the scale and then they'll want you to determine the actual length, or you'll be given the scale or the actual length or the actual measurements, and then they will want you to determine the map length, map dimensions. Boys and girls, we have terminology that we're using in mathematical literacy, especially under the maps and plans. What is important? A map. What is a map? A map is a dramatic representation of an area of a land or sea showing a physical features. A map is a dramatic representation of an area of land or sea showing physical features, cities, visa, national or provincial map, strip chart, elevation map, or street map, and so on. So it means with a map, we'll be able to see all this dramatic representation under what? Under the national or provincial map, strip chart, elevation map, strip map, etc. What is a map? A map can be expressed as a plan or a chart. A map can be expressed as a plan or as a chart. Now, coming to the terminology that you need to know when you work with maps. You should be familiar with these terminologies because you have been doing it from the beginning of the year. It's not only now you'll be seeing this terminology for the first time. You need to know when we are talking about a bar scale. A bar scale, remember what is a bar scale? We say is presented as a placeholder, or maybe let me draw it for you so that you can understand. A bar scale, it will be represented like this because it is a bar. And then you take a ruler, you measure the distance from here to there. And then after that, you could determine how many centimeters. Remember now, if I use a ruler, for example, let me just quickly demonstrate. I hope you'll see. I will just measure my bar using a ruler like this to say, okay, the length of my bar is 25 millimeters. As you can see, I have used the millimeters. And then after doing that, you'll be able to determine what is the actual distance based on the bar. So that means you measure the bar and then you say, okay, one bar represents this number of millimeters or this number of centimeters. And then after doing that, you are able to now to calculate or to measure the distance, and then you divide it by the number of bars or by the the length of the bar, so that you can get the actual distance. Elevation map. What is an elevation map? Remember, boys and girls, with the maps, you'll be given, I'm going to show you the different types of maps that you know, but the elevation map, we say elevation map is an information about the profile. So meaning it is information about a profile. Information about a profile of a route as seen from the side. So we say elevation map, it's an information about a profile of a route as seen from the side. Remember, boys and girls, when we talk about the elevation, we also have elevation plan. Here we have an elevation map. That is why we say it's an information about a profile of a route as seen from the side. And then in terms of an elevation plan, what is an elevation plan? You need to know the difference, because here we're talking about the map on the first one, and then now with elevation plans, it's an information or that you can see from the sides, from the right and the left of an object or of an house. So when you talk about elevation plans, then we say, fine, this is the house that you have. From this house that you have, for example, if I may draw it, say suppose this is my house, and then from this house, I can only see what? The front part, I won't see the back part. So as you can see there, I can only see the front part, but with the elevation, like I'm saying, we only see the sides of the house or of the box or of the floor. Let me say of the given diagram, we only see the sides there. That is the elevation plan. But when it comes to the elevation map, we say it's an information about a profile of a route as seen from the side. So meaning what you see on the side, it's the elevation. And then when you go to the plan, it is also the elevation, because remember now, when you build a house, you need to have a house plan. So that house plan, from the outer part, we talk about the elevation plan now, whereby you'll say, okay, fine, this is how, according to my plan, this is how my house will look like when I look it on it from the left, and also when I look at from the right. Then I'll be able to say, oh, okay, this is how my house is going to look like. If a person comes on the road, they can see this side, this view. Then we say that is an elevation plan. Now, when it comes to the floor plan, with the floor plan, what do you see now? Remember now, the floor plan, we only focus on the dimensions inside because it's an aerial view. We can see, we view the house from the inside. We say this is our bedroom 1. For example, it will be our B1, B2, and then kitchen, and then a toilet if there is a toilet. So now with that one, now we say, okay, fine. A floor plan will be able to show us the best rooms. You know, when you look at it, you say, oh, okay, these are the dimensions of these rooms. We view it from the aerial view from the top. That's why we are able to see the floor plan. And then when it goes to the highway now, what is the highway? When we talk about the highway, we say a highway is a major road. A highway is a major road that links major cities to each other. So meaning with a highway, you know, guys, where you live, there are highways. And then if you are coming from the inner streets and then you want to go to the main route, the highway that will be able to join the two cities, we call it a highway. So it's a major route that links cities to each other. And then with this one, a number scale. Boys and girls, you know a number scale. Some of you, maybe you might even call it what? You don't say it's a number scale. You say sometimes it's a linear scale. So a number scale is written in a form of a ratio. 1:10, for example, or 1:100. That is a number scale. So with this number scale, we know that if it's given to us like this, we say Okay, fine. According to this, it says 1 unit on the plane, 1 unit, this 1 is 2,000 or 1 is 200. What does it represent? It says 1 unit on the plane represents 100 units on the ground. Maybe your teacher is giving it to you the other way, but it's still the same. As long as you know that this 1, it represents what? It represents the map unit, and then the 100. So we say 1, it represents the map unit, and then the 100, it represents what? It represents the reality or real measurement. So it is the reality of the real measurement. So when you measure, you say, okay, fine, this calculator of mine, it's big, but when I draw it on the plane, I can't draw this big calculator, because remember now, our pages are A4. We have A4, A3s, and so on. So now we need to resize the measurement when we go to the paper. So even when we talk about this calculator now, we need to resize it when we go to draw it on the paper. So that is why we are using the number scale. And then, boys and girls, the route map. What is a route map? We say a route map, it shows, remember with the route map, it shows a specific route. That is why it's called a route map, because when you go to a place, you need to drive on the streets. Remember now, you'll be following the route. You can't just be driving between people's house, but you have to follow the streets. So with the route map, it shows you where to drive and how to reach your destination using the route map. And then the street map. What is a street map, boys and girls? These definitions, I know it's not for the first time you are seeing it, but you just need to remind yourself, because they are also what? Examinable. So with the street map, we say a town, a street map, it's a town, a map of small area, a map of small area, such as towns or cities. So we say a street map, sorry, excuse here. It's a street map, error there in terms of the spelling. We say a street map, it's a map of small areas such as towns or cities. So when, like I said to you, when you go to a space, when you go to a place, you need to know the streets. Where are you going to drive? Because you can't just be driving between or amongst people's houses, you know, just without following the route. You have to follow the route, and you have to know how many streets the person that you're looking for, they stays at street number what, and then you are able to count street number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you are able to reach your destination. And then when it comes to a street map, boys and girls, you have done this, the street maps. We say a street map now, it's a map of a section of a traveling route. Remember, with a strip map, like they say, it's a map of a section of a traveling route. It doesn't show all the streets, but it only shows a certain section of the map. With the street maps, a map of a small area such as towns or cities, we only focus on that. And then the route, now the route is it is where you'll be driving to reach your destination. You'll use a certain route on that area to reach your destination. That is why you have to have the street map to say, okay, fine, it's street number 1, number 2, number 3, and then which route am I to drive at? Following that route, I'll be able to reach my destination. Now, a scale, boys and girls. We say with a scale, these are just the definitions that you need to be familiar with. We have a bar scale, we have a highway, a number scale, elevation map, elevation plans, floor plans, and then we also have a scale now. With a scale, we say we determine, the scale determine how many times smaller or bigger an object shown on a plane. So now with a scale, we say a scale, let me just draw a line here so that you can see clearly the definition of a scale. Let me just do this so that you are able to see what I'm referring to. I hope now you can see. We say with a scale, the scale, it determines how many times smaller or bigger an object shown on a plane. So now remember, like I said to you, a scale can be represented as what? A number scale, which is 1:100 or 1:1000, or in a form of what? Of a bar scale. And a bar scale, remember I said we draw a scale, we draw a bar, and then we say here it is from 0 to 100 kilometers. So that means this bar, it represents this length of the bar, it represents what? 100 kilometers in reality. So now when we want to use the bar scale, we first have to measure this bar using what? The centimeters or the millimeters. And I recommend that, or maybe I would say you can use the millimeters to be more accurate, because the millimeters, they show even the units. Because remember, if it is in centimeters, it will be divided only as 1, 2, 3. Let me show you here from our ruler. In centimeters, as you can see, there are no smaller partitions here, because now this is 1 in centimeters. As you can see, it's 1 centimeter. But now when it comes to millimeters, remember, it shows all the segments. With centimeters, it only shows, and we say 1 centimeter. This 1 centimeter is equal to what? To 10 millimeters. So when you use the millimeters, you become more accurate, and then you can just convert it into what? Into centimeters. But when you measure using the millimeters. Now, boys and girls, let's continue. What do we say? We say a compass direction. Remember, we are talking about a map. What is important again when you talk about maps and plans? The direction. We need to know the direction. What is a compass directions? Compass directions are important when describing one's position. A compass direction is important when we are describing one's position, where I am standing. Then if I am to direct a person, therefore I must use what? A compass direction. And then with a compass direction, there are 4 main directions, which is the north, the south, the east, the west. And then here, when we are doing that, we say there are 4 main, meaning it will be the north, the south, the east, and the west. And 4 more directions in between, because remember, it's not always whereby a place is right on the north or right on the south or right on the east or right on the west, but it can be also in between. So in between we have 4 more directions, which will be northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. So this will be your northwest, the northeast, southeast, and southwest. Remember, in mathematical literacy, we only have 18 cardinal points. We don't have 16. We only use the 18. We don't have the south, south, southwest, or south, south, east, or north, northeast, or north, northwest. No, we only have the north, the northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, only. Those 8, that is what we have. So now when we use this compass direction to find the location using directional indicators such as the left, the right, along, straight, up, down, for example, then we just say, okay, turn left or turn right. Because remember, when we direct a person, you'll be telling them where you are facing, that would be your north. And then now you'll start to say, usually I say to my learners, with N, I will say it is never, ever smoke weed, so that you don't forget. Even if I can do it practical, I will always say, never it goes up, ever. That will be on your right, and then going down it will be smoke, and then on your left hand side it will be the west. Then you say never ever smoke weed. So when you are doing the directions, use that information. Don't change. You must always remember that never is right at the top, and then on the right hand side it will be your east, which is ever, and then at the bottom it will be your south. And then we say never ever smoke. So south will be smoke. And then when you go to the left hand side, it will be your west, which is the never ever smoke the weed. So you just need to remember those cardinal points, because when they say to you, use the compass direction to direct a person from one area to the other, you need to use those directions. You need to say, okay, fine, you must turn to the left or turn to the right, which is the what? Which is the east and the west. Or you go straight, which is straight will be the south, the north, or if you are to go back, and then it will be the south. So always remember, boys and girls, this is not for the first time you are seeing this information. I'm just taking you through this so that I can remind you. But in reality, you have done it in class. Now, what are the basic principles that may apply to describe the route or giving direction? Like I said to you, we use directions, the north, south, east, and west when you give directions. And then also you can either say northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. Be sure to orientate the plan for the direction in which you are traveling, so that you give a correct direction. So if you're to give a person a direction, rotate your plan so that you give them the correct information, you give them the correct directions. Because sometimes if you don't rotate your plan, maybe on your plan, the way it's facing, the direction that you want to take is on your left, and then when you describe, you say turn to your right. That becomes wrong. So you need to rotate. Be sure you orientate the plan for the direction in which you are traveling, so that you can give correct directions. There is usually more than one route that a person can choose from. There is usually more than one route to choose from. It is generally easier to describe the most direct route. You know, when, like I'm saying, when you give a person a direction, the landmarks are there. Tell them when you turn to the left, and then this is what you'll come across. You drive straight, and then you come to this point. Those are the landmarks. So when you give direction, use the easiest one so that this person can understand you. Use the easiest route to describe. And then also mark your selected route on the map or on the plan to make sure you do not miss out any detail. Remember what I said, the landmarks. So you must tell me that when I go, maybe say to Mall of the South from Kyalani, I know from the gate, when I move out of the gate, I must turn what? I must turn to my right, and then drive up until the robots. At the robots, I must also do what? Turn to the right. go straight up until the first or second robot, and then at the second robot, this is what now you're giving me the landmarks that you'll come across a shopping complex there. The shopping complex will be on your right, and then you turn to the left. So you see now you're becoming more specific. Even when I'm driving now, I know, okay, fine, this is what they said, I must follow, and then I must look at that. If there's a garage, say it that the garage will be on your left or on your right. You must say it so that a person knows. They mark using what the landmarks. They don't miss the turn because of you did not mention. You can't just say go straight, 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 and then you'll find that at the end there's a T junction, you turn left. No, you don't say that. You must tell them how many streets are you going to pass, and then what are you going to come across on your left hand side and on your right hand side, and where to turn. So now you can say we use also the word turn left and turn right, and give the name of the street you must turn onto. So remember, like I'm saying to you, you don't just say drive straight, 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 and then at the robots you turn to the left, and then I don't know the name of the street. You must tell me, when I turn to the left, what is the name of the street? Barbecue Downs or what? Then as I'm coming, I say, oh, okay. They said I must pass how many robots? 1, 2, 3 robots on the 4th robot. And then I turn to the left. And then on my left, it will be Barbecue Downs. Then as I turn from Barbecue Downs, I proceed straight. Then the building that I'm going to, it will be building number. I pass the first building on my left-hand side. Then I go to the next gate. That's where Kyalami is. Then I know as I'm driving, I'll be given the correct direction. It will be easy for me to follow. So boys and girls, we have done these basic principles. Now let's go into the quick quiz. Remember what is important. We don't just do these directions without applying them. They are examinable. The examiner will give you the map that you need to describe the direction, or you need to follow the direction, or you need to give a person a direction, or you need to interpret that map. So now here, let's have a look at our quick quiz number 1. Here we are given a grid reference. With the grid reference, as you can see, we have a row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we also have the column A, B, C, D. So it's up to you. How do you read it? Now, let's check number 1 here. It says number A, in which general direction is Pond Drift from Pretoria? So what are we looking at? The Pond Drift from where? From Pretoria. That means I need to go to what? To Pretoria, because it says from Pretoria. This is where my Pretoria is. Then I look, and remember, Pretoria is the name on the site, but it's indicated here on the map that this is where your Pretoria is. And then now they want you to identify where the Pond Drift is. Where's the Pond Drift? Pond Drift is here, as you can see. Now, if I have to give the general direction, I have to draw, and again, boys and girls, you look at the north given here, the compass. They are showing us that the north is facing up. So if the north is facing up, you have to use it the way it is given. Don't change it. Don't say, okay, fine, because the north is facing up, and then where I want to go, I can just turn it, maybe face it this way and say my north is here. No, you leave it as it is because it's given to you. We call it a true north. So when you get your map, you look at the true north. So our true north is facing up, and then where is Pretoria? Here's our Pretoria. Then here at Pretoria, we draw our compass. There's our compass, and then we say this is our north. Never ever smoke the weed. Now we have our 4 compass directions, and then now we want to determine where is Pond Drift from Pretoria. So here's Pretoria, then we go straight to what? To Pond Drift, as you can see there. So now, as you can see, when I draw there, maybe my drawing, I know it's not that nice, but at least you can see. So we say the direction, it will be on the north west, because now it is from here. It's not going straight up there, but it goes along the side like this, and then there's our pond drift. We say it is northwest. You can either not write northwest or NW. Boys and girls, it's very important that you know how to write the answers, how to write the direction. Remember, we said we are using what? We are using the compass direction. Let's go to the second one. The second one, it says, in which general direction is Mapungube NP entrance from all days? Now we go to our plan. Here's our map. There is our Mapungube NP entrance. And then where is our all days? Here's our all days. Now we want to know, it says, in which general direction is Mapungube entrance from? The keyword, it is from. So that means if it says from, you don't start from the given word, but you draw your cardinal or you draw your compass direction from where? From the second name given. So it says from all days. There you go. There is your all days. And then now you have to determine what? Mapungube. And then you say this is never, ever smoke weed, which is north, east, south, and west. And then now I have to draw the direction to Mapungube. And then it will be the north, east. Or you can say NE. Or maybe in an exam, maybe you want to follow this, you can, some I know you prefer to say east of north, but it doesn't make sense. We always say northeast. You need to know your compass direction because we don't have such a direction of east of north, but we have the northeast. So this, don't write it. You must only focus on this one, the northeast, writing it as NE or northeast in full. So boys and girls, always when you are given the grid reference, you look at the true north that is given, and then now you look at the places that are mentioned. And if they say to you from, so it says Mapungube NP entrance from, meaning I'm going to start from the second place, from all days. So I won't start at Mapungube going to all days, but I am starting at all days going to where? To Mapungube. Now let's continue, boys and girls. It says the grid reference of Chugulu Lodge. So it says give a grid reference of Chugulu Lodge. Now let's have a look. Where is the Chugulu Lodge? You go to your map. As you can see there, it's not written anywhere Chugulu Lodge, but you are given the key. They are telling you that Chugulu Lodge is where it's at A. You are given the key. As you can see here, you have the keys. Always on a map, there'll be something. If it's a place that you must go to, or you are given this map and then they say the grid reference, so you must look at the keys again. So what is important here, because now they did not write a Chugulu Lodge to say this is where it is. Now they've given us the Chugulu Lodge in terms of what? Of a key to say, okay, A, it's Chugulu Lodge, and then B, it's Limpopo Forest Tent Camp, and then C, it will be Lokwe Camp, and then D, it will be Vembe Trails. Now what do? Because you are looking for A, you go to your map, you identify, okay, there is my A, and then my A is what? It's Chugulu Lodge. So that means the question says write down the grid reference. So the grid reference, it will be B1, or you can say 1B. So because here it is B, and then it is on the first block, so here it is B1. You can either take it this way or you can take it the other way, as long as you are able to know to say, oh, okay, it's on column number 1 and then row number B. So you can write your answer as B1 or 1B. B. Boys and girls, this is where we can collect as many marks. This is a level 1 type question. So today I want us to have a look at those easy questions that you can get marks. Remember, the main aim, it is to make you pass.
Excellence. Excellence is a habit. Excellence is a quality you have, a quality I have. It's a quality we have when we honor what is true to us. Yes, we are gifted differently. uNkulunkulu akasinikanga ngokufana. Excellence is striving for your best. Whenever you have a particular project, test, homework, uzibuze, ask yourself, is this my best? Can I put in more effort? Excellence is striving to be in the top 1% of the area in which you are gifted. And so I challenge you, in every single thing that you do, in every single area that you're gifted in, whether it's sports, it's academic, ucula, whatever that gift is, strive for excellence.
Welcome back, boys and girls. You know, as with technology, we are not so much friends, but we are managing, we are getting there. Welcome back, boys and girls. Let's continue. Like I was saying to you, if you are given the grid reference, it's so easy for you to use. What you need to do, you need to look at the place, find the place, and then you check where is that place located, and then you just write, okay, it is at number B, and then it's B1. So you can either say B1 or B2 based on the answer. Boys and girls, now let's continue. We are here. We are now focusing at the maps. Remember, we said today our main thing is to focus on the maps and the plans. Now here we are given the provincial map, because you can see that it only shows the province of Free State. As you can see, I can see the Castel there, the Forisberg, it's Free State. So the only focus is a provincial map. And then here we say we have this family, the Johnson family, plan a trip to the Golden Gate National Park in the Free State. So they plan a trip to where? To the Golden Gate National Park in the Free State. The family arrived at the Bram Fisher International Airport in Bloemfontein. They hire a car and drive to the Golden Gate. So this is where they have arrived. This is their destination. When they arrived, they arrived at the international airport. There's the international airport. And then, as you can see, we are now becoming towards inclined to technology. Boys and girls, this map, it is taken from the Google map, because it can show you the location where they are. They arrived at Bram Fisher International Airport. And then what are they saying here? Okay, they arrived at the Bram Fisher International Airport in the Bloemfontein, and then they hire a car and drive to the Golden Gate National Park. And where's the Golden Gate? Here, this is where they are traveling. They'll be using this route that is dark in color, the blue one, and then they are going where? They are going here. This is where they are going in their map, which is the Golden Gate National Park. So their destination is right here. Now they'll be leaving from here, taking this route, the N1, following the N1 and the N5 up until they reach what? They reach their destination at the Golden Gate. Now let's continue. Again, boys and girls, before we can even answer the question, let's analyze this map. Remember what I said, it's a Google map. And then we look at the north. Here, we are given a true north here to say the north is facing up. And then here's their destination, Glen Rennen, camp and chalets. And then they are leaving from where? From the Bram Fisher Airport, the Johnson family. Now, the question 1, it says, write down one national road that they traveled on when they travel via Senegal. So meaning, we look at this map now. Let's see, this is where they have traveled. And then the question says, write down one, not two, but just one national road. And how do you identify it's a national road? It will be written as N to say it's a national road. And then now here, this is where they were traveling on the blue line, and the number there, the national road that you can see, it is N1. So it says write down one national road that they traveled on when they were traveled from Senegal. So from Senegal, now we have the first one, which is the N1, and then they continue from the Bramfisher, they used the N1, they continue, and then here's our Senegal. From Senegal, they changed from N1, now they used what? From N1 to N5. These are the two national routes that they use, but what does the question require? The question says write down one national road that they used, that they traveled on when they travel via Senegal. So meaning via Senegal. Here's Senegal via the N5. So boys and girls, you will be given the mark if you write N1 or N5, because they traveled from Bramfisher, they used N1, and then they continue from N1, they joined what? They used the route via Senegal, and then they chose what? N5. They traveled with N5. So our answer there, it says national route that they traveled on when they travel via Senegal. You can say, because they only want one, you can either say N1 or N5. So you first need to interpret the map before you can answer the question. Look at the information given, and then you analyze it, and then you say, oh, this is what they're looking for, and then this is how I can write my answer. Now it says, the next question, the journey takes 3 hours and 13 minutes. 3 hours and 13 minutes. They booked at the camp, Glen Renan Rest Camp at the Golden Gate National Park. This is where they are booked. At Glen Renan Rest Camp at the Golden Gate National Park. They arrived at their accommodation at 13:05. Now, what does the question need? It says, determine the time they left the airport. So, if they have arrived at 13:05, I will write on the map here. So, the time of arrival, it is 13:05. And then time traveled, is what? Is 3 hours and 13 minutes. That is the time that they have traveled. Now we want to know how many hours did they, or at what time did they leave the airport. It says determine the time they left the airport. So now we have the time of arrival, we have the travel time. So for us to be able to get at what time did they leave the airport, then we have to subtract from 13 hours and 5 minutes that they have arrived at. We must subtract what? The 3 hours and 13 minutes that they have traveled. I'm going to use this space over here because now I don't have a space. Okay, fine. Let me see if I can use this one. Now we want to subtract now 13:05 minus 3 hours and 13 minutes. We know that we won't be able to subtract. These are the minutes on the minutes here. Remember, here it is the hours, and then here it is the minutes. And then 5 minutes minus 13 minutes is very impossible. Then what do? We borrow. Let me just write it over here so that you can see it's 13:05 minus 3 hours and 13 minutes, because it's highly impossible for us to say 5 minutes minus 13. Remember, here it's in hours, and then we also know that 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. We know that information. 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes, and then we'll just borrow here 1 hour, and then when it gets here, when we borrow 1 hour, we are left with 12, and then when it gets to this side, it will be what? 60 minutes. So all in all, now we'll be having 65. So our new time now, for us to be able to make it clearer now, it will be 12:65 minus 3 hours. Remember, it's 12:65 minus 3 hours, 13 minutes. Now, let's quickly subtract here so that you can see the answer. We say, when we do our calculation, we say now 65 minus 13. It will be 52. And then you say 12 minus 3. It will be what? 9. So it means they left there by what? By 9:52. They left the airport by 9:52, and then it took them 3 hours and 13 minutes to reach their destination at Golden Gate, Glen Renan Rest Camp, and then they arrived there by 13:05. As you can see, boys and girls, it's so easy. What you need to do here, you need to check the time that they arrived at the airport, the time that they arrived at the Glen Renan Rest Camp, and then the time it took them to go to their destination, to reach their destination. They took 3 hours and 13 minutes to travel, and then that means the time that they left, time departed, is now 9:52. I hope you get it correct, boys and girls. Remember, you can use the calculator to do what? To do the time, to calculate the time. But those who can't master using the calculator, then they can use the manual and say, okay, fine, since it's 13:05, 13 hours and 5 minutes, then we want to subtract 3 hours and 13 minutes. We know that it's very unlikely for us to say 5 minutes minus 13 minutes, so it's impossible. Then we have to borrow 1 on the hours. When we borrow 1 on the hours, we are left with 12 hours, no more 13 hours. And then that one, when it goes to the minutes, we said 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes, and then we add it to the 5 minutes. That's where we got our 12:65 from. And then we say this 12:65, now we are subtracting the 3 hours and 13 minutes that they have traveled. Then we find our answer to be 9:52. It means they left the airport at 9:52 to reach their destination. Now the next question, it says their journey takes 3 hours. Okay, it's the same information. Their journey takes them 3 hours and 13 minutes. They booked at the Glen Renan Rest Camp at the Golden Gate Park. They arrived there by 13:05. The family travels at an average speed of 100 kilometers per hour. Now the question says calculate the distance to the nearest kilometers. What are we to calculate? The distance to what? To the nearest kilometers from the airport to the Glen Renan camp. Now we are given here the formula. It says you may use the following formula. So if you are given the formula, they don't just give you the formula to make your paper look nice or whatever. That formula is given to you so that you can use it. They know that you are going to use it. So it means it's a key that here's the formula, use it. You don't need to think, but you should be able now to manipulate that formula, because what you are looking here at, we are given the formula as speed is equals to distance over time. And then our question, it requires what? The distance. Now, boys and girls, if you don't know how to determine or how to manipulate this formula so that you get to have the formula for the distance, we can use this triangle. we use this triangle, we say it is DST. We know here it's a division line, and then here it's a multiplication line. D stands for distance, and then this is a distance, and then here's the time, and then here it's a speed. And then now the formula says determine what? Calculate the distance that they have traveled. And now if we want to know the distance, we say we are manipulating the formula now. We say the distance is equals to speed multiplied by time. We say distance is equals to speed multiplied by time. Now we go back to our formula. We are substituting now. They have traveled at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour, and then the time it took them to travel 3 hours and 13 minutes. Boys and girls, why did I write it as 3 hours plus 13 minutes? Remember now, we can't be working because our speed here, it is in kilometers per hour. So that means our time is now in hours and minutes. We need to convert what? We need to convert these minutes now into what? We need to convert the minutes into hours so that we have the same unit. We can't be working with two different units. So now let's quickly do that. We said 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. And then we want to know 13 minutes is equals to how many hours? And then we just do our cross multiplication. And then as we perform our cross multiplication, our next step there, it will be 100. Okay, fine. Let me just finish with this one first. Then here the time, the hours will be 13 divided by what? By 60. 13 divided by 60, it will give us what? I hope you are having your calculators with you. You are able to calculate 13 divided by 60. It is 0.22. 0.2166666, and then we round it off to one decimal place. It will be to two decimal places. It will be 0.22. So meaning it will be 100 multiplied by, let me just put it inside the bracket, 100 multiplied by what? By 3 hours plus 0.21666. So if I add it there, if I add the 3 hours, now my time will be 3.222. 100 multiplied by 3.222. 100 multiplied by 3.22 hours. If I multiply it, and then remember now the hours, because here we have 100 kilometers per hour, then the hours falls off because we are looking what? We are looking for the speed. The hours will fall off, and then we multiply the time now by what? By 100. And then we get our answer to be, I no longer have a space now. Let me just write it here. My answer will be 321.66. But because they said to the nearest kilometer, the question wants us to write the answer into the nearest kilometer, then our distance will be 322 kilometers. Our distance is 322 kilometers. As you can see, boys and girls, what I have done here, I have substituted everything that is given. We are given this speed, which is 100 kilometers per hour. That's what is given. And then we are given the time that they have traveled, which is 3 hours and 13 minutes. And then we convert this 13 minutes. We convert to hours. We convert the 13 minutes to hours here. We have done it. It is 0.2166666. And then now remember, because they said our answer must be to the nearest what? To the nearest kilometer. And then we just do what? Because we are looking for the distance, and then the hours will cancel off, and then as they cancel off, now we know that we are only left with the kilometers, and then they said it must be to the nearest kilometer. 100 multiplied by 3,21,66, then 321,66, and then we just say okay, fine, our answer, it was going to be 321,66, and then we round it off to the nearest kilometers. It will give us 322 kilometers. Next question, boys and girls. I am going to try to cover as much as we can because these are the low-hanging fruit questions. This is where you need to collect marks. You know the formula for the distance, speed, and time. You have been doing it before in class from grade 9. So it's not a new thing. You just need to put it in application now. And then you substitute to the relevant symbol. If they say you are given the time, you substitute the time. If you are given the distance, you substitute where it says the distance. If you are given the speed, you substitute where it says the speed. Now let's have a look at another map. Here is below is a map of the Free State Province showing some towns and cities and roads. It also indicates the neighboring province and Lesotho. Neighboring provinces and Lesotho, their neighboring country. So it means this map, it indicates what? Different provinces and also the neighboring country. So it shows everything. Now it says question 1, number A. Use the map alongside to answer the questions that follow. Remember, in the exam, here the map is being resized, but in the exam, you'll be given a full A4-page map. So that means it will be clear and you'll be able to identify the correct answers. It says how many provinces can be seen on the map? Number 1, it says here below is a map of a Free State province. That is our keyword, number 1. A map for a Free State province. And then it's showing some towns and cities and roads. It also indicates the neighboring provinces. It means there are provinces also there that are being indicated on the map. So the question says, how many provinces can be seen on the map? Now let's see. I can see the first province, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Northwest, Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga. So how many can we identify? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the Free State. So number of provinces is equals to 7. That's so simple. You identify, you need to know provinces because number 1, they're telling us it's a map of a Free State province and then it's showing the neighboring provinces. So now the question wants to know how many provinces. You just count the number of provinces that you can see on the map. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the province of Free State, which is 7. I hope you got it correct, boys and girls. Let's continue. Which town will you find the next to the N1 on route from Bloemfontein to Cape Town? So we want to find the town next to where? Next to the N1 on the route from where? From Bloemfontein to Northern Cape. So now we go to the N1. Here is the N1. From Gauteng there it is N1. As we can see, there's N1 and then it's from Bloemfontein and then there is Northern Cape. So this is the one that they're talking about, from here, from Bloemfontein to the Northern Cape. And then they want us to identify or to write down which town can be seen. So the town that is next, you find next to the N1, that is Tromsburg. As you can see, here's the Tromsburg. The answer is Tromsburg. That is the name of the town, because that is the only town that you find where along the N1. I hope you got that answer correct, boys and girls. Now let's continue. It says the area of the Free State is 129,537 kilometer square, which forms a 10,6. So the area of the Free State only, it is 129,437 kilometer square, which forms what? Because we are talking about the area, that is why it is in kilometer square. And then now, which forms a 10,6% of the area of the whole of South Africa. Now the question says, calculate the area of the whole of South Africa. How do we calculate? Remember, now we are given the portion of Free State. They are telling us that Free State, it only represents what? 10,6. So now, and that 10,6 is what? It's 129,437 kilometer square. So now we want to find the actual area of the whole SA. So we say area of SA is equals to, now what are we looking for? We are looking for the area of SA, which is 100%. What are we having? We are having the 10,6 of what? Of that portion. That is the known, and then we want to know the unknown. We multiply it by what? By the 1,929,437 kilometer square. Now, let's quickly do our calculation. Remember, boys and girls, it is 10,6% of what? Of the entire South Africa, the Free State province. So we want to know the area of the entire South Africa. Then we say 100 divided by 10,6. And then we get it to be, it's up to you the way you do it. You are going to do it the best method that you know. You can use it, but this is the simplest way. Remember now what I have done, I have solved this one first. 100 over 10,6, it gave me 9,439,62264. We multiply it now by what? By 129,437. And then our answer will be 1,221,103,774 kilometer squared. That is the entire area of South Africa. It is 1,221,103,744 kilometer square. I hope, boys and girls, you have seen what I have done. Remember, when we do the percentages, we have been doing the percentages in paper 1, and then we are also having the same method that we are doing the percentages in paper 1. We still apply it on paper 2, because now here we are working with the percentage. They just want to know, because percentage is part of the basic mathematics or basic mathematical literacy. So now we just want to know. We say, okay, we want the 100%. And what we are given only the 10,6, which is a portion. And then we are using this method to determine the answer. Now, the next one, it says, if the most eastern town of the map is Harrismith. Here is our Harrismith. And then, as you can see, here's our true north. The north is facing up. So now, they say if the most eastern town on the map is Harrismith, name the most western town on the map. So now, if we are to do this, because here it is our north, as you can see, you know, we like to rewrite everything that is written. It's so important. We said never ever smoke weed. So what I have done, I've just continued with that. And then now we say Harrismith is on the eastern side. As you can see, it's on this side. It is the most eastern side. Now we want to know what is the most western side. And then the most western side will be what? The Philly. It's Philippolis. This area here, this town here, that will be the most, because as you can see, it is the most eastern town, and then this one is also the most eastern town, which is Philippolis. Boys and girls, it's so easy. What you need to do, you just need to interpret the map, understand it. Let's continue. Which national road running through the Free State covers the longest distance? The national road running through what? The national road running through the Free State that covers the longest distance. Now, looking at the national roads that we have, remember, this is the provincial map. It's a province of Free State. And then we can identify N8, national 8, there. There you go. There's the national 8. And then there's N5 here. And N5, it covers this space here. And then the N3, there it is, the N3 shown. Then now, the one that covers the most, it is N1. N1, look at where it starts. There you go. From the Northern Cape, it goes direct to Bloemfontein. There you go. And then even from Gauteng via Kroonstad, it is the N1, still the N1. So our answer is N1. You see, boys and girls, it's so easy to identify the answer. You just need to be able to interpret the map with the given information, because they're telling you about the national road. They're asking you about the national road that is running through the Free State and covers the longest area. As you can see, it covers the longest because this is where it starts. It goes, there's N1, and then there's N1 again. So it means it's the one that covers the most or the longest distance. And then if a person travels, the next question, if a person travels from Harrismith, so they are traveling from Harrismith via what? Via Ficksburg. Let's identify, yes, the Ficksburg. They're traveling here via the Ficksburg. If a person travels from Harrismith to Bloemfontein, and then here is Bloemfontein. So Harrismith to Bloemfontein via Ficksburg. So that means they'll be using this route. And then, which national roads will the person use? So it means this person comes here. They are traveling here. And then they come here, they join, and then they go to. So it means they'll be using what? Because here it is what? N5. So it will be N5, and because the question says, if a person travels from Harrismith to Bloemfontein via Ficksburg, which national road or roads will the person use? So it can be, they can use N5, and then from N5 to Bethlehem, and then from Bethlehem they use what? N5 and N8. They can use N5 and N8 to go what? To reach their destination, where is Bloemfontein. They have to use this route. So it is N5. From N5 they use what? They join the N8. Boys and girls, we are done with the provincial map. Now we are focusing on the strip chart. Remember, these maps are examinable. You need to know them. You need to be able to answer the questions based on the strip chart. And they are so simple. Strip chart is so simple. It's not difficult. It's very, very simple. What you need to do, you need to be able to understand how to interpret the strip chart. And with the strip chart, what is important, you will be given the distances along the side, as it shows you here. It says from Pretoria down up until Durban. So meaning we know now, just by merely looking at this strip chart, we know that the distance from Pretoria to Durban, it is 557. And then if we go into the inner places, and then you use the N11, the N5, N3, if you want to via certain places there, and then like say this person from Durban, they know when they travel from Durban to Pretoria, they must pass where? They must pass Pietermaritzburg, Howick, and so on, Escort, Ladysmith, and then Harrismith. So that means they know these are the distances from Durban to Pietermaritzburg. Their first point, it's 69 kilometers, and then from 69, then they continue. So meaning the distance from Pretoria to Durban is 557. From Pretoria to Durban is 557. And then from Durban, as you can see, look at what I'm doing. I'm saying from Pretoria going to Durban, and then from Durban going to Pretoria, it's 557. So meaning you have the distance going there and then also going there. Now it says write down the type of map that is displayed alongside. The type of map that is displayed alongside, it is the strip chart. And remember we spoke about the strip chart on the when we're doing the definitions or terminologies. So you need to know how to interpret, and you need to know the strip chart stands for what is the strip chart, the map showing what. And then now let's go to the next one, boys and girls. We say write down the total distance from Pietermaritzburg to Pretoria. From where? From Pietermaritzburg to Pretoria. So the total distance from Pietermaritzburg, here is our Pietermaritzburg, and then to where? To Pretoria. I said you can simply use this method. You look at your strip chart, and then it says from Pietermaritzburg to where? To Pretoria. The distance is 488 kilometers. Because now we said from Pretoria to Pietermaritzburg, it's 488. So same applies. Then if we want to use this one, we say, okay, fine. If I cover from here up to here, from Pretoria to Durban, it's what? It is 557. And then from Durban, from Pretoria to Durban, it's 557 kilometers. And then from Durban to Pietermaritzburg, it's 69. And then we just say, we can use this one again. We say 557 minus the 69. It will still give you what? It will still give you the 488 kilometers. Boys and girls, you don't even need to do the calculation because the information is given. So you just look at the information. Here I'm just showing you that if I am given this, or they want me to show, and then I can simply do this method to say, okay, fine, 557, because now it says from Durban to Pretoria, it's 557, but from Durban to Pietermaritzburg is 69. So it will be 557 minus 69. It will give us 488 kilometers. Or we can just take it from this side to say, okay, from here to here it's 69. If from here to here it's 69, that means from 69 to Pretoria there it is 488 kilometers. I hope you were still together, boys and girls. Remember, very soon you'll be writing your final, and we are preparing. You just need to be able to interpret this information, this strip chart. Once you do that, you are on your way on passing your mathematical literacy. Grade 12. Now it says the next question, write down the national roads to be used to travel, meaning we are looking for the national roads to be used to travel from Pretoria to Bethlehem. Now it says the national roads traveling from where? From Pretoria. From Pretoria then to Bethlehem. So I'll be using N3. As you can see, here's Pretoria. I'll be using N3, and then there by the junction I use N3 and N5, because it says the national roads to be used traveling from Pretoria to Bethlehem, and then it is N3 and N5. The next question, a person drives from Bergville. Now let's first identify. It says the person travels from Bergville towards the N3. So now we need to know, okay, there's our Bergville, and then they are traveling towards the N3. They want to join this route. They're traveling from here, they want to join this tree. This is our N3, as you can see. Here is our N3. Now, the question says, write down whether that person has to turn left or right to drive to Pietermaritzburg. Now, boys and girls, here is this person is traveling from Bergville. They want to join the N3 and then going where? Here is our Pietermaritzburg. Remember I said where you'll be facing, that's where it will be your north. So this person, here they are. When they get here, are they to turn to the left? Are they to turn to the right or to the left? Remember now it is like this. Their north is here. Never, ever smoke weed. So their north is here. This person is traveling from here. This is where the Bergville is. And then they are going to where? They are going to the N3 now. Here's the N3 in our map. Here's the N3. And then the N3, now they want to know, okay, from here they are. Now they want to know, are they to turn to the right or to the left? Because they are going to where? They are going to Pietermaritzburg. So now for them to be able to know, then they just draw that compass direction. Then they have to turn to the east. We said never ever smoke weed. So this is your right hand side. This is your left hand side. So they'll have to turn to the right. As you can see, they'll be turning to the right because they're from this side and then they're going this way. Here is the Pietermaritzburg. Then they'll have to turn to the right. So they're from Bergville, they turn to the right. Because we have drawn our compass direction. You see, it's very important. If you understand the compass direction, it's very easy for you to identify the route. Boys and girls, let's continue. Our floor plan. Here you are given a floor plan. It says, floor plan shown alongside is the floor plan of a house with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Question number 1. How do you identify? Now it says determine how many windows and doors can be seen on this floor plan. The question says determine how windows and doors can be seen on this floor plan. Now, how can they be seen? They can be seen on what? On the elevation. On the elevation plan, because they can be seen from the right and from the left. So, boys and girls, can we just take a 2-minute break, so that we go and drink water and then we come back, we continue with this question. Just quickly, let's take a minute break. We'll be back now.
Excellence. Excellence is a habit. Excellence is a quality you have, a quality I have. It's a quality we have when we honor what is true to us. Yes, we are gifted differently. uNkulunkulu akasinanga ngokufana. Excellence is striving for your best. Whenever you have a particular project, test, homework, uzbuze, ask yourself, is this my best? Can I put in more effort? Excellence is striving to be in the top 1% of the area in which you are gifted. And so I challenge you, in every single thing that you do, in every single area that you're gifted in, whether it's sports, it's academic, ucula, whatever that gift is, strive for excellence.
Welcome back, boys and girls. Let's do this question so that we know, even if when we come across the floor plans in our exam, we are ready. We know what is happening. So now it says, determine how the windows and doors can be seen on this floor plan. It can be seen through what? Through the elevation plane. Why elevation plane? Remember, we said elevation plane, it can be seen from the outside. From the outside, it can be seen from the left and the right. So that's how you'll be able to identify the windows and the doors on the house. But we cannot see the rooms inside with the elevation plane, but we can only see the rooms inside with the floor plan. But with the elevation plane, we can only see the doors and the windows. So our answer there, it is the elevation plane. Now determine how windows, okay, this is a repetition. Sorry about that, because it says determine how windows and doors can be seen on the floor plan. Like we said it is an elevation plane. Let's move on. In which general direction does the living room window faces? In which general direction? Here is our living room window. There it is. And then the question says, in which general direction does the living room window faces? Now looking at this, our true north, there is our north. It's facing this way. As you can see, there's our compass direction, and then the north is facing that way. So you don't have to turn your compass in order to get the room, or in order to say, now my compass direction, they said always it is facing up like this, whereby you say it's never ever smoke weed. You don't have to turn your compass direction to this way. You use a true north that is given. So now looking at this window here, there is our north, so it means it is like this, if I may to draw it. So now our window, it is on the northeast. The window of the living room, it is on the northeast, because it is right here. It's not at the bottom, it is right here on the northeast. I hope you got it correct, boys and girls. And then it says, determine which bedroom will get the morning sun. And we said the sun rises where it rises from the east and sets on the west. So now we want to know which bedroom will get the morning sun. And as you can see here, it says bedroom. It doesn't say bedrooms. That's a keyword number one. It says bedroom, not bedrooms. And on this side, we have on the eastern side, we only have bedroom 3. And then on the western side, we have bedroom 1 and bedroom 2. So that means our answer, it is on the bedroom 3, because it is on the eastern side. We say the sun rises on the eastern side and then it sets on the western side. So it is bedroom number 3. That's where you'll get to see the room that will have more sun, that will get the sun more than any other room. Now it says identify the next question. Identify one design error on this floor plan. Identify one design error on this floor plan. Now when we look at this floor plan, boys and girls, we are given the dimensions, we are given the windows, and how do we see it's a window? Remember now, with this question, you will be given the key to say this. If it's like this, it's a window. You will be given the key word to say this is the window, and then this part, I hope I will be able to do it. The door will be facing this way. They will tell you that this is the door. Now it says identify one design error on this floor plan. Error number 1. Let's have a look. Okay, the bedroom, it says bedroom 1, there is a window, there is a door. Bedroom, living room, there is a window. There's no door. Okay, fine. It's an open plan. The door is for the kitchen. So meaning you only enter using what? The kitchen door to go to the living room. And then there's the window for the bedroom 3. And then we have this room here. Okay, we have this room. We have this room. And then we have bedroom number 2. With the bedroom number 2, we have a bedroom 2 and then a window. We have a room for machine and a room for the machine. And then we have another room here. It says it's a shower and a sauna machine, a sauna room. Now, the first error, there is a room, this one, a room without a name. Room not labeled. A room not labeled. Why? We don't know this room. We don't know whether it's a toilet or it's what. But there's a room that is not labeled. And then we go again. When you look at this, it's a sauna. Remember, a sauna, it's more of like a bathtub or where there is an access to the sun because it's a sauna room. So now, here we have an exterior door. As you can see here, we have an exterior door to the sauna. So now we say exterior door on a sauna room. Because now if you're there, that's your special place. You don't need to be disturbed. So if there is a door, a person can just come in even if it's locked. So a person can just come in or break in there using that door. So you don't want to be disturbed in that room. Even when you are in a shower, remember, a sauna is where the shower is located. So now, if you are in a shower and then there's an exterior door, whereby a person can just open that door and then come in, you won't feel safe. So a shower usually, remember, even the bathroom is right inside the house, and then it's not just, it doesn't have an exterior door. It's only the kitchen that is having an exterior door, and also the living room if it's not an open plan. If maybe even if it's an open plan, if there are 2 doors, the other one will be on the living room going outside the exterior door, and then the other one will be in the kitchen going outside. And then from there, from the toilet, we don't have a door that goes outside, but it can be a window. They should have at least, maybe here where there is a door, they should have at least placed what? A window there. I hope we are together on this one, boys and girls. And as you can see, with the floor plan, we are given the floor plan, the plan of the house to say how many bedrooms, how many doors are there available, and then what are the dimensions of the room. Now, name the type of plan that will show the side view. Okay, we have already done this. We said it is an elevation plane. It says name the type of the plan that will show the side view of the house. That is the elevation plan, because we don't see the inside, we only see the side. Now the scale of the floor plan is 1:100. The dimensions of the house are given in meters. Explain what is the meaning of the scale. We said the meaning of the scale, 1 unit on the plan is equal, or it represents equal to 100 units on the ground or reality. That is the meaning of the scale, 1:100. And then the next one, it says use the scale of 1:100 to determine the drawing size of the length of the room of the machine. The drawing size, remember now we are given this. Now the drawing size, here we are given the measurements. They say our scale is 1:100. And then here we are given this in what? In meters now. We are given the dimensions of the room in meters. And then the length of the room of the machine, it is what? It is 4. 4 meters. And then we want to know this one, the plane length. We want to know the plane length. And before we can do that, we can't be working with 2 different units. We quickly need to do what? We quickly need to convert this this meters to to centimeters, and then we just multiply by 100. So it will be 1:100, and then the plane 1, and then the plane will be 400, because 4 multiplied by that, it's 100. So now if we are to get the length of the plane, because we are looking this, for this one, we are quickly going to do our cross multiplication. And then with our cross multiplication, the plane length will be 400 divided by 100. That will give us 4 centimeters. So what you can see, what I have done here, boys and girls, I have converted the meters to centimeters first, and then I did my conversion to determine the plane length, which is the plane length, because we are given the actual one. Boys and girls, I am trying as much as possible so that you have a gist of what to expect in the exam. These are the type of maps that are examinable. Tembi is traveling with her mother, who has a physical disability, and her younger sister. Map shown the layout of the main camp of the Addo National Park. The Addo camp, use the information above, or use the information alongside to answer the questions that follow. So now here we are given the layout of the Addo National Park. As you can see, it's Addo main camp. This is the layout. It shows us where to move, where to travel, and the rooms that you can get there. And then with the key, as you can see, they show us that CK6CP is caravan campsite, CK80, it's the tent site, the MF, it's cabin, and then the HL is rendezvous with fridge, CH is chalets for 2 people, CH25, and then CH2/4 is chalets with air conditioners, CH24Z is chalets with air conditioners accessible to the mobility challenged, and then we have also the CO2 cottages with ceiling fan and TV accessible to the mobility challenged people. So we also have the kitchen there. They've given us the guide to say here's the kitchen on the map, and then we also have the packing area. As you can see, there's the packing area, and then here are the tents. You can identify here from our layout plan. And then even the toilets, they show us the ablution there, and then the rooms that are okay for the people with the mobilities who are challenged. And then now let's have a look at the question. It says Tembi books a cottage number 46 to stay in during the holidays. Give a reason why cottage 46 will suit Tembi and her family's special needs. Now, where's cottage number 46? Here is cottage number 46 on the map. And then cottage number 46 is where? Is at CO2. So it's cottage number 46 at CO2. And then what does CO2 stands for? Now we look at our key word there, or key information. CO2, it's a cottage with a ceiling fan and accessible to the mobility challenged people. So it has an access to the mobility challenged person. So that is why it's suitable for her mom, because her mom is using what? A wheelchair. Now it says Tembi gets into the car cottage. Tembi gets into her car at the cottage number 46. She travels on the road. She travels on the road between the area H4 and CO2. So you have to look for H4. Here is H4, and then here is CO2. There she is. She gets into the car, and then she's traveling here. And then now they say in the direction of the cottage 39. Now you have to look at the cottage 39. There's cottage 39. She comes this side. And then it says she then follows the single road until she comes to the road which leads to the game area. So this is the road that leads where she follows a single road that leads to the game area. Now, it says here Tembi turns left. So there you go. Remember, she was traveling. And then here Tembi, she traveled from here going this way. She came and then on a single road that leads to where? To the game area. And there is the game area, the site, as you can see. Now it says, what attraction will she find on her right? What attraction? Okay, here Tembi turns left and travels on the road. So she turned left. Remember we said here, now she'll be facing her north. If we can try to write, it will be never ever smoke weed. Now she turns to the right because she's going towards what? She's going towards the game area. Now it says here Tembi turns left and travels on the road. What attraction will she find on her right as she keeps on traveling on the road before she comes to a T-junction? Boys and girls, this diagram is so small. It gives us a challenge now seeing. Remember now, she was traveling here. And then now on her right hand side, this is what she will see. But if you have a map there, it says it is a bed height. She'll be able to see what a bed height on her right hand side as she keeps on traveling to the junction. So boys and girls, remember in the exam you will be given a full page full of this layout, so you'll be able to exactly identify what is required. Now it says the next question, how many rondavels are there with a fridge and an air conditioner? So you quickly go to your key and then you check where is the place rondavel with a fridge and aircon. So that is HL2. And then you quickly go to the map there, the layout plan, and then you say, okay, it says rondavels with that one, and then it says how many rooms. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 rooms, 6 rondavels. Why is it important that there should be a kitchen available near the tent site? Remember, if you are living in a tent, there is no ablution, there is no toilet in a tent. There is no kitchen, a place to cook inside the tent, because you just go there and then you erect your own tent, you sleep in there. So why there should be? So that you are able to cook. Kitchen to cook, as tents do not have kitchens. As tents do not have kitchens inside. Sorry about that. As they don't have kitchens inside. So the tent, you just erect a tent. There's no kitchen, nothing. Here is the next example. I'm just going to go through this so that at least you know the type of maps that you can expect in the exam. Remember, we did the floor plan, we did the strip chart, we did the provincial map, we also did the layout map. Now here is an elevation plan or an elevation map. The Johnson family enjoy hiking and plan to hike at the Reebok hiking trail. Use the elevation map alongside to answer the questions that follow. Write down the flag number of the flag where the height of the hiking trail is 2 kilometers from the ground level. Boys and girls, always when you see this type of plan, you need to remember you will be given the keywords. It says 2 kilometers, and here the height is given in what? This is the height. The height is given in meters. So 2,000 meters is the same or is equals to 2 kilometers from the ground. So now we want to know which one and then which flag. If I do this, you take a ruler quickly. We can place a ruler like this. And then if we place a ruler like this, it will show you that flag number 5. Flag number 5, that is where the height is above 2 kilometers above the ground level. Boys and girls, unfortunately, our time is up. I would love to continue, but you know, we are only given a limited time to complete these slides. But before I can conclude, boys and girls, like I have said to you, this is the type of the elevation plan. And then we did the street map, we did the strip chart, we did the provincial map, the national map, we did the floor plan, we did the layout plan, and then elevation plan. If I may quickly maybe show you, these are the questions for them. Elevation plan. This is another type of question that you can expect in the question paper, your paper 2. The sitting plan. The sitting plan is also examinable. You just need to know what does the sitting plan entails. A sitting plan shows the number of seats, the seating arrangements, direction from one seat to the other. Those are the key aspects that you need to know about the sitting plan. It shows the number of seats, seating arrangements. As you can see, the number of seats there in the plane. This is a Boeing, which is a big plane. It shows there the toilets. We have the keywords. It shows on the keywords the standard seats, and then we have the standard seats with a view. This one are without a view. This one are with a view. The seats with more leg room. The toilet. You know, the toilet, there's an icon for the toilet, and then the screen, the exit. It shows us everything. So the sitting plan, it shows the number of seats, seating arrangements, and the direction from one end to the other. And then now it says, use the layout. I'm just going to do one question because our time is up. Use the layout of one Boeing 737 aircraft alongside to answer the questions that follow. Measure in centimeter the width of the cabin of the aircraft. Boys and girls, you are given a keyword. There they show you the width of the cabin of the aircraft. And then what you do, they said in centimeters. You just do this. You place your ruler there and then you measure. Remember, mine is not drawn to scale because it's not on a paper, but it's just on a picture there here. So you measure from here, you place a ruler, and then you measure from one end to the other end. It will show you 4,3 centimeters. Now determine the number of the toilets in the aircraft. Remember I said the keywords. Toilets, how do you identify the toilets? Here's the keyword. We have toilet 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 toilets. Let me wrap up, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you learned a lot. Here's the last one, the street map. This is how the street map looks like. So you need to be able to identify the answers. And remember, when we deal with the street map, it has got the landmarks. You are able to count the number of streets. It shows the routes clearly. As you can see here, it says Pennsylvania Avenue. It shows you the Virginia Avenue, say 23rd Street Avenue, and so on. So you need to understand the street map. It's easy to get the answers because you identify and then you give a person the landmarks. Remember, we said we orientate the map in such a way that you are able to give that person the correct direction. Thank you for watching this lesson. See you next time. I hope you have enjoyed and you have learned. Please go back at your school or with your teacher. Where you don't understand, ask your teacher to assist you, and then prepare for the upcoming exams as we are on our final examination from the beginning of November. Good luck, all the grade 12s. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.